Okay, so for this analysis, we're diving into a really fascinating text, The Despair of Reanimation and Other Monstrous Dialogues. And what's so cool about it is how it just completely flips our understanding of what a monster is and maybe what we should really be afraid of. We're going to explore how these dialogues just shatter our expectations and reveal a whole new kind of horror.
And that brings us to the big question, right? What actually happens when the creatures that go bump in the night stop trying to, eat you and instead start questioning their own existence? This text basically trades jump scares for this deep, unsettling existential dread.
So here's our game plan for digging into all this. First, we'll look at what makes these talking monsters so different. Then we'll meet a pretty unique necromancer who's not so sure about this whole undeath thing. After that, we'll get into some really strange monsters who use psychology as a weapon, and we'll analyze a creature that feels disturbingly modern. And finally, we'll pull it all together to see what this new kind of horror really looks like.
All right, first stop, we need to get a handle on how these dialogues work by just messing with our expectations. See, the real power here is that they take these archetypes we all know, the necromancer, the goblin, you name it, and they give them this weirdly intellectual, modern voice. It stops being about what they do, and it becomes all about what they think.
Now, before we can appreciate how these rules get broken, we have to know what the rules are in the first place. And we all know the classic horror tropes, right? You've got the snarling beast, the villain who wants to take over the world, that immediate threat of physical violence. It's a danger you can see coming, and, at least in theory, you can fight it.
Okay, so with that classic stuff in mind, let's see how this text just takes that rulebook and completely tears it up. And we're going to start with one of the most classic figures in all of fantasy.
Which brings us to our first case study, the necromancer. Now, when you hear necromancer, you probably picture somebody obsessed with power, right? Commanding these huge armies of skeletons, trying to conquer death itself. Well, the necromancers in these dialogues, they're not like that, at all.
And the contrast here is it's stark. The classic necromancer is all about beating death to gain power. But the philosophical necromancer in our text, he doesn't even see the point. Raising the dead isn't some great show of force, it's just a pointless, meaningless act in a universe that's already soaked in hopelessness.
This quote just illustrates it perfectly. You can almost hear the exhaustion in his voice. Waste my energy for something vague? This isn't some power-hungry bad guy. This is a being who sees his own incredible power as like a chore, a pointless exercise with no real payoff.
And the second necromancer takes it even deeper. The problem isn't just about reanimation, it's about the uselessness of life itself. The real horror here isn't an army of zombies, it's the chilling idea that life is so meaningless that even bringing someone back from the dead can't possibly fix anything. That's pure existential dread.
Okay, so let's keep building on that idea of existential dread. If the threat isn't a zombie army, then what is it? Well, this next group of monsters completely redefines the idea of harm. It's not physical anymore. It's psychological. It's conceptual. The horror isn't what they do to your body, it's what they do to your mind and to your sense of reality.
You can see the new battlefield laid out right here. On one side, you've got this mage goblin, and its weapon is literally your own brain. On the other, you have the ant monster, which attacks reality itself by just breaking language. The horror isn't what they do to you, it's what they get you to do to yourself, or what they do to the world around you.
I mean, how unsettling is that? The mage goblin doesn't kill you. It makes you want to die, horribly. It takes our most basic instinct, self-preservation, and just twists it into this desire for a gruesome end. The enemy isn't some monster outside, it's a voice planted inside your own head.
And the ant monster, man, that might be an even more terrifying in a way. It doesn't attack your body or your thoughts, but the very tools you use to make sense of the world. By making words meaningless, making love mean malevolence, or up mean down, it makes reality itself fall apart. The horror is the complete collapse of all meaning.
So, what about our last monster? This one isn't some ancient evil or a cosmic being. No, this one feels chillingly familiar. It's a monster that feels like it was born yesterday, a total embodiment of modern cynicism. It's a creature that reflects our own anxieties right back at us. Just look at this profile. It's driven by money. It's obsessed with how it looks to others. Its morals are, well, they're flexible. It's a total suck-up. This creature isn't trying to destroy the world. Its goals are petty, they're selfish, and they are terrifyingly recognizable. It can rationalize away atrocities as long as it gets paid, and its public image is fine. And there it is. The evil here isn't driven by hate or some grand philosophy of chaos. It's just a cold, business-like calculation. Human lives are just another number on a spreadsheet, weighed against currency and status. That casual, detached amorality, that's the horror.
So, let's pull all these different threads together. What's the big takeaway from this new gallery of monsters? What's the one thing that connects the tired necromancer, the psychological goblin, and the cynical opportunist? Let's figure it out.
At its heart, the change is really this simple. We've moved past the fear of what can happen to our bodies. The new horror isn't about being ripped to shreds. It's about being torn down from the inside out.
The new battle isn't for your life. It's for your soul, your sanity, your sense of self, and your very place in the universe. The stakes are so much higher now. It's about whether anything means anything at all.
And this right here is our final conclusion. The necromancers show us a world where purpose is dead, where even bringing someone back to life is pointless. The mage goblin and the ant monster attack our sanity and our ability to find meaning head-on. And the mini-monster? It shows us the chilling end result of a world where all of those things, purpose, sanity, and meaning, have already been thrown out the window.
Which really just leaves us with one last question to chew on. If our monsters have evolved from physical threats to philosophical ones, what does that really say about us? About what truly terrifies us in the world today? What modern anxieties are we channeling into these dark philosophical creatures? Definitely something to think about.